Eclipse, 183 degrés.
Eclipse, 183 degrés. Eclipse, Eclipse, Eclipse.
Yeah, do you need these videos to be very stable? Like stationary? Okay.
What even is the Geliverse?
Hmm.
That's a great question. The Geliverse. The Jellyverse is my world. It started 3 years ago when I didn't want to see myself. I wasn't aligned spiritually, I wasn't aligned mentally, I wasn't aligned in any sense of the way. The year 2021 leading up to my launch in 2022, early year, I was like, didn't want to see myself. I was wearing my balaclavas to school. My face was covered. I just wanted to start again. I found myself asking God to amplify my purpose and just align me with the things that were meant for me, to remove anything that wasn't for my highest form, that wasn't gonna amplify my purpose. And that year it was shedding a lot of different things in my life. And I didn't realize at the time, but it really allowed me to become the person I am today. And honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. I started this because I wanted to amplify things in me that I didn't even know I had yet, but I knew the potential was always there. And believe me, I'm not one to live in potentiality. I want to live in my purpose. I want to live and do things and creatively be aligned with my truest self, with my childlike self. I need to be living in my true state. I was going through it in 2021. I was hiding my face. I was going to class in a shiesty, in my handmade crocheted shiesties, balaclavas, because I didn't want to see myself. That's how bad it got. And at the time, I was with my ex, and he thought it. Yep, we're keeping that in. And he thought it was his fault or something like that. But honestly, it was a mixture of just a bunch of different things that like I couldn't help, that were going on to the relationship at the time. But honestly, it was mostly about myself and like just wanting to change. You know, when you just don't want to sit with yourself anymore and that's all you can do to solve the problem, but you don't want to do that work. That's how I was feeling in 2021. So come the end of the year, me covering my faces in these colorful balaclavas, because at least I could pour my spirit into something that would visibly make me feel better. Everyone kept asking me. I started wearing them to classes. Even my profs bought some for me. So many people always come up to me, and I always wanted to have something. That's crazy. That's crazy, guys. A crow just came in. But I always wanted to have something to give someone when they do approach me, because it happens a lot. And I was like, okay, God, if this is what you want, give me, like, allow me to do something with this. What's the point? So, yeah. That's kind of how this started. 2022, early February, with everyone asking me. I coded my website very poorly. Very poorly coded my website, and from there I got packaging. I'm really big on eco-friendly, recycling, all that stuff. And so that's kind of what my packaging embodies. I found a local company and they printed on 100% recycled paper. I sent my designs to my graphic designer friend, and she just mocked it up for me really quickly, which I sent over to the company. And from there I launched within like 2 months. And February rolled around and I wanted to create the Jellyverse. For me, I create out of freedom and faith, or that's been my philosophy for the longest time. And whether or not I was living true to it like when I first started my brand is questionable, debatable. But now that I've been going through it for the last 3 years with this anniversary collection, I can really look back in 2020 hindsight and say, hey, like, I am creating out of faith. I'm creating out of freedom instead of fear. And how that even came to be in the first place was because every hat I made, every like necklace I made, every piece I made, every clothing I made it in a state of positive mindset. I made it in a state of like just in a high vibrational state, and that really allowed me to create products that people loved and loved wearing. What I always said was like, you cannot cry in my hats, you cannot cry in the pieces that you're making, in my pieces that I'm making. And I say that with chest, obviously half tears guys, but I say that with chest because you really put this on. Look at me, I look like a little cartoon character. Y'all, are you running around like a cartoon character? I'm running around like a cartoon character. Everyone can be running around living their best life as a cartoon character. And that like joy of your inner child, joy of just finding peace in yourself and like amplifying that within you allows other people to see that and want to amplify that in themselves. And that's exactly the world I was creating for myself. I created a safe space that I can extend to everybody. At the back of, oh my god, I don't even want to cry, y'all, this is too sentimental to me, but at the back of every card it's a handwritten note, and I say like, welcome to the Jellyverse. I'm inviting you in. Like, this is the space for you to amplify who you are in the best positive way. You're all my jelly bellies. Welcome to the Jellyverse. You can't run now. So a really big thing for me is to create with intention and through vibration, energies, and frequencies. And those are the things that I pour into every product I make. My whole practice is about slow, intentional crafting. It's energetic integrity. Every collection is a snapshot of where I was at in life at that time. It's I can look back and be like, oh my gosh, I was going through this, and this is why. I'm creating wearable memory. I'm creating a transformation. I'm creating a time capsule of Geli Gurl. Every piece I made is handmade by me out of love, out of curiosity, out of like extending the childlike wonder to anyone who does support my project, anyone who does support mental health. Look at me, guys. You don't have to be one way the world sees you. And through my hats, I feel like I open up a new space for different kinds of people to show up in a job that they may not think they could show up as. And I love that. And I'm not saying this product is for everyone, but it's for everyone who wants to feel energetically aligned with their highest self, with their childlike self. We always hear different creatives, Rick Rubin, Pharrell Williams, Kanye, everyone talking about, I love how I say everyone and name three people, y'all don't even listen to me. But a lot of creative people always saying, how do you support your childlike self? Like, go back to that person, to go back to that inner child and see what they're calling for. And I feel like my hats allow people to do that. And through extending myself in these hats, they show up as themselves. What changed you, and how has that like taken place with creating in Geli Haus? Everything. I want to say the breakup, being hospitalized last year after coming back from Japan. I want to say losing my cat, getting bullied from my ex, and basically just moving across the world. The girl who launched Geli Haus 3 years ago isn't the same woman you see today. I want to say healing, I always thought as healing as not something linear. I know I'm aligned now, and that's for sure, but I'm definitely creating more from my truth, and like I said, not out of fear. I did a podcast 3 years ago after my breakup, and my friend asked me this question. I said, follow up with me 3 years later, and here we are. And I always knew that going through whatever experience I needed to go through was going to change me in the ways that I needed to change in. I just didn't know at that time. So am I healed? I'm definitely in a much better place. I'm not creating from a place of sickness anymore. And that's changed my whole creative process. With that change, when I used to go to therapy, I was considered a high functioning stress person. Yeah. Does that sound like you? Are you a high functioning stress person? Because that used to be me. But now, like I said, I'm creating out of peace, out of calmness, out of a sense of security. And with that, it's a slower it's a slower pace creation process. Before I was doing like 10, 15, 20, 30 hats. We're not doing all of that. I was making reels. I was going to class. I don't know, I was doing pop-ups around the city or the cities I was staying in at the time. And now I'm just like, there's no need to be creating at such a like high level when the only reason I was able to do that was because I was sick, you know? So I think coming to terms with that really allowed me and this collection to flourish in its fullest potential. And this is the first collection I made, the first series I made that is from a healed place. And that's crazy to say because every year I was creating something, or the second year at least, when I was in Japan into the Jellyverse, I really thought I was like set, I was good, there's no more harm, there's no more hurt in me, there's no more like, you know, mental health issues. But now, like, fast forward, series 4, we're on our 3-year anniversary. I can really sit down and say, like, no, like, girl, you were going through it back then, and now you can have like 2020 vision, look back and say, hey, your creative process changed. That's okay. And I wasn't going to come to terms with it, by the way. Let me just say that I sat with this. I was like crying in my bedroom at like 3 a.m. because I was like, no, I'm not creating at this high functioning level anymore. Yada, yada, yada. Girl, you were sick. Girl, you were sick. Ah, that's so crazy to admit. I was sick, y'all, and I was creating so many things. But now with the intentionality, with like the calmness and slowing down, I don't feel rushed. And neither should you. Like, this is the collection to remind me of that. Yeah, so we'll finish this, and then I want to change into the other outfit.
Perfect.
Yes.
Very inspirational.
No, don't say that.
Yes.
Going through. Wait, let's do it again. Let's start.
Girl, I'm scared for your ankles. Okay.
Not the 6-inch heels in the grass, bro, on a hill. That's crazy. Hold on.
That's what the
Ow.
Jellyverse is about.
My toe came out. That's so funny. Okay, take. Going through it with my ex, and I don't like the way I'm talking. We don't like that. We don't like that. I don't want to mention my ex one bit, even though it was like a pivotal time.
You're doing great.
Well, Thank you.
Woo!
I
Yeah.
see. It's so interesting how like your mental really affects your body, hey?
Tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it. I know. It's crazy.
So then you went to like a psychiatrist to diagnose, well, to get yourself diagnosed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to you, was that really surprising to you? You're like, whoa, what the fuck?
Nah.
It
like,
makes sense that when you look back at it. And you're
yeah,
like,
it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like that. It was the first time like verbalizing it when someone like, oh, there's a name for this. I'm actually fitting into something. Other people go through that. Like, obviously, nothing that you're experiencing is unique to you. Like, I want to say that. That's why, like, don't feel like you're alone. Like, reach out, you know?
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't new to me. Like, this has been going on. I knew I like do well under stress and stuff like that. And in society, it's kind of rewarded. Like, Wall Street, it's freaking stressed environment, people up, whatever. That's why, like, I'm so grateful at what's happening right now. Like, the shift in like slow fashion, like just all of this that's happening. Sorry, I can get into it more, but just like the shift that's happening, it's going toward a more slower environment. Like,
Okay.
yes, like TikTok's there and like only like 15-second videos or whatever. But if you talk to your friends, like things are slowing down. Like people want to work from home, be able to slow down their day, not be in this environment, like work environment all the time and feel like they're on the go. And that's showing that it's more productive, you know, because they're able to take it slow and bring it back. And just flow through that. And I guess that segue. So
sure.
flowing, give the weirdos feet pics.
So I relate to it in the way that when I was a kid, I used to be obsessed with drawing anime characters and stuff, and I'd like make comics and stuff out of it too. So I pretty much had a whole universe designed, and the setting, story, all planned out and repurposed over time. As I became a better artist, I would, update the characters or just like do all these little things to them, and I kind of felt like I was sculpting it from front to back all the time, and it was cathartic. And so, yeah, when you talk about the ideas that you have with your work, your sweaters, everything's super intentional, and it feels like, yeah, in the same way that it's like you're designing the whole thing front to back. It's like you're creating a story, you're creating characters, you're creating this like big picture idea that has like that same sort of attention and care to it that a child has when they're super passionate about like drawing anime.
Yes, thank you so much. Keeping that childlike state and you're still feeling like the idea is being formulated by a child. I love
It is
that.
like a state actually, the way you even put it. It's like that's something you really grow out of. That's beaten out of you a little bit.
Really, it
at your
is.
age, and then being able to like hold on to that is really.
That's like, we have all the ideas but no money. We always say that, right? Like kids have all these ideas but no money to do anything. And then you get older, you have no time, but you have money, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, if you're able to focus and like refine, like enjoy, like take everything, go through it, and still keep that state, like be able to tune in, you'll have time, you'll have money, and you'll have the ideas that you want to do.
Yeah, working out, I was like, holy shit, like 13-year-old Alfred would look at me and be like, you're the coolest fucking guy ever. And I get emotional thinking about that too.
Yeah,
so it's
oh my God.
So I think that's the only person I want to impress. Like if